Hey, Aries. I got a guest with me today. My own personal Aries, my husband Ryne. I'm going to try and sometimes bring on guests of the sign I'm talking about so I can just get a little bit of insight. Straight from the source. So Aries is a fire sign. Aries is the ram. Aries is the instigator. And we were just brushing up on some astrology. The complete handbook to astrology. I picked this up in a thrift store in Pomona. And it's pretty magical. So if you're not too familiar with astrology, or if you are, or just like moderately, you probably have focused on one main sign in your life. That's your sun sign. And not everyone knows that it's specifically your sun sign. Like most people just know your zodiac sign as being one sign, your birthday. When is your birthday? And you look it up. But that's your sun sign. And your sun sign is like the outward you, how you shine. It's your sun. But you also have a moon sign. And then you also have a sign for every planet. Because every planet was in some formation around you, and you're the center when you were born. Which means astrology is completely you-centric. It is basically like your solar system. If you were the center of that system, your sun would be, your center, so that's you. But the two main ones that are really important to know are both your sun sign and your moon sign. I would say that they're almost equal in importance. Your moon side is your shadow side, how you engage with your emotions, how you express your emotions. So those are two of the sides of you. So reading some of the qualities of Aries through the sun. Aries is assertive, impulsive, independent, pioneering, enthusiastic, insensitive, direct, aggressive, impatient, and self-centered. Oh, that sounds kind of negative,
Self-centered, that's like what you were talking
about. Oh, you-centric. So
You-centric, self-centered.
Exactly.
So is that a good thing or a negative thing?
Okay, so I feel like I've been talking about good and bad in videos and how, there's no really clear line between good and bad these days, I would say. And the way that you can kind of picture this is attempting to break down connotations. Connotations frame everything. They put a line down the middle of something and claim one side to be good and one side to be bad. Even if it actually in essence is neutral. The idea of being self-centered. People connotate that with narcissism or selfishness. But recently there's been, from what I can perceive, a self-love revolution.
What's the difference? I don't see it.
I don't know. There's a really fine line, I feel like, or a blurry line. It's hard to know. I think intention is what matters. So when you're self-centered, in the sense that you take care of yourself, that you hold your body as sacred, you treat yourself right, you don't self-harm, or you don't put yourself down. Maybe that's like a positive side of being self-centered. You can be confident or you can be arrogant. But confidence is so necessary. Confidence is having faith in yourself.
But you can be confidently arrogant. So
yeah.
How do you stop?
You can be both. You can always be both. Through intention. If you have a bad intention.
Are people intending to be arrogant? Maybe.
Oh.
Is that even?
Yeah.
That might be in the very definition. They're aware that they don't know, but they, act upon it anyways. Ignorance is when you don't know. that you don't know.
That's true.
You know, or you are ignorant of a situation and you don't understand, or you don't know the situation.
What do we
right?
do? We're not even shuffling cards.
Well, we're doing the book right now.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to, do you want to read the moon?
Okay.
So while I shuffle.
So what is the moon again? It's the yin of the yang side? Or are they kind of polar, the sun and the moon, or are they just two separate kind of planets
in this one. It's turned over in the deck.
Revolving around the face of me?
I think they're complementary.
Are they related as compared to the other planets or stars that might be?
I don't know. They're all related in a sense.
Are they
more
all
work
related?
Together.
Like I'm saying, is it a yin and yang, or is it like are they complementary, kind of like that?
I mean, I would say that they're the two most apparent aspects in yourself.
Oh, okay. Well, the first two you look at.
Yeah.
Okay. So for Aries, it says hasty reactions, a short-fused temper, which quickly burns out, independent, intolerant of interference, may possibly seek to dominate others emotionally.
Oh, my cat is getting
Rebel. Get out of here. You're a Gemini.
We already talked about you in the last video.
You didn't make an appearance, though. We weren't. That wasn't a segment yet. Stop.
Oh, God.
There's nothing sacred to you, cat.
Well, you brought a lot of cards out, so it's okay.
Good. Yeah, it was needed.
Ooh.
So this is maybe the dark side of me.
Yeah, but also don't think of it connotatively, like dark as in evil or dark as in bad. It's just the part of you that maybe is internal, so that's why it's dark, because you don't readily share this part of yourself, or as easily as whatever you express through the sun.
I don't see many of this in me. Hasty reactions, short fused temper, which quickly burns out. What does it mean it burns out? Like I have a temper and then I don't. The temper burns out?
Because I know you, I feel like I can connotate that as positive. Do you know what I mean?
A short fused temper which quickly burns out, that's positive?
No, like as in burning out, as in maybe forgiving.
Oh, okay.
You know? You wouldn't think that, right?
Yeah, like the flames of
like it just simmers, like.
You know? Well, lately I actually feel like that has been happening. I used to hold grudges a lot more, even though I didn't think I held grudges.
Maybe you're easily extinguishable if you think of your fire as being sometimes you're too aggressive, like excessively aggressive aspect to yourself. You know, so burning out would be maybe just like.
I see the intolerant of interference. Sorry to interfere. But I see, I can't, I mean, I'm very used to it, especially in my job, but, like, yeah, maybe I don't let the moon shine as much, you know, in me, but I definitely feel that.
What kind of interference? Are you just like...
I mean, I feel like I'm better than other teachers at letting, you know, being okay with interference, because I feel... You know, I mean, we live in the real world. There's a lot of interference, and you have to learn to deal with it. And I feel like I deal with it a hell of a lot better than some other people. But you're not, I don't know, you're not really tolerant of it. You're more, maybe this is tolerant, but you cope with it or you go with it because it has its negative aspects for other people. You're not just thinking about yourself. You know, you're thinking about the whole of the class. But now I'm talking about my job. But I'm saying... Just, well, when I'm trying to do things, you know, make music or whatever, I mean, I can't be interfering.
Yeah,
if I'm focusing, if I'm doing something, yeah, I have to tune in to give it my all, generally, you know?
Yeah. Well, Aries is really assertive in their goals, so that seems like...
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at your cards.
Okay.
Can you see them all? Okay. Well, the most apparent, I think, figure in this poll would be, you see this? The Knight of Wands. Wands is fire. The Knight, that's Aries. I feel like this is probably one of the most Aries cards, you know? It's you in your state of, I need to get shit done. You know?
Oh, okay. Looks like I'm going somewhere, yeah. I'm like, kind of like the horse's head down, charge ahead.
Yeah, definitely.
All ready for war.
You also have the Page of Swords, but it's in reverse. And the Page is a younger version of the Knight. So maybe I would say the Knight would think, in a sense, that they are in some way more superior than a Page. And if this is you reversed, it would be almost, you like action more than thinking, you know. The Page of Swords would really exemplify, you know, going with their intuition, like their thought. You more just need to feel a situation out and, like, go for it. You know? That premeditative sort of period before you do something is not as important as the actual task.
Yeah, but it helps a lot with the task.
Yeah.
Right? I need to be prepared for me to feel accomplished at anything. You know, I do pretty much. Because you always gotta wing it. It always does come down to the actual performance, if you will, but if you're not prepared, it's a sure thing. The performance won't go as well as you would want.
Yeah, and I feel like you're more about results.
Yeah.
So, like, you have the Ace of Pentacles here.
Qualifications.
This is the way that you start things. And you start things with, like, a solid goal in mind, a solid plan. Because the results, this material gain is it's evidence of your ability to complete this task, however you start it.
Hand of God.
But Aquarius pulled this in the first reading, Emperor reversed, not always having to play by the rules.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're... yeah, fucking instigator. Because you're so goal-oriented, you almost will stop at nothing. And you don't like following rules. And actually, I feel like you think it's way more efficient to not follow the rules.
Mm-hmm. If you're capable, yeah. For other people, for the masses, maybe. And it's good to know how to follow rules, at least. But,
yeah.
They get in the way most of the time.
But I feel, okay, so it seems like you have a different way of approaching what victory you consider a victory is. This reversed. You know? This is coming back from war, this card. Sort of a celebration of achievements. But I feel like you've told me this, that you try to teach your kids that it's okay to lose. And they can almost benefit more from a losing experience. And yeah, just gain insight, more insight than you would have if you won, and teaching them that it's okay to fail sometimes, and it actually makes you who you are. I feel like you value that. You value that over really just winning it.
Yeah, and so many people, especially young students, you know, they're afraid to even try because they think it'll be wrong. They think it's wrong even before, and maybe it really will be wrong. Maybe they don't know it yet, but there's no way to learn, and they should never, or anybody should never be ridiculed for being wrong, even, I mean, yeah, unless they're just not trying, you know.
Yeah.
If you're not giving it an effort, then, I mean, you shouldn't be ridiculed, I guess, ever, but, you know, that's a disservice to yourself, but, you know, being wrong, you know, if you're trying, like, yeah, never anything to be ashamed about. That's the only way to learn.
That's true. That's true. Speaking of kids, you're pretty in touch with your childlike self.
Yeah.
You know, I would say Aries.
Too many cartoons.
Yeah. Aries has, because they're so fiery, they almost have a sense of, like, rascalness, you know, which is, like, a very youthful essence. Just kind of understanding the way a kid's mind works more than even adults. Because
I think it's a more creative mind, you know.
yeah, it's
there's more possibilities in a
you
young mind.
are more unlearned as a child. You haven't learned things.
Yeah, you have beginner's mind.
That, exactly.
You're curious.
You're open to new experiences. You don't have the connotations, all those connotations constantly clouding your mind. That, I think, is this right here. You know, this card has everything to do with those, the mental cages that you put yourself in willingly, you know. But Aries doesn't do that. They're not going to sit there and let their mind become consumed with something because they think society is judging them, or that just in public people are generally judging them. They don't really compromise, you know. I would say no matter what, even if people seem to be wronging you, Aries, like, you don't really fall into their connotations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What else do we have here? But in the same way that certain ways of thinking can benefit you, sometimes they can also be a disadvantage. Because you're so steadfast, Aries, it's hard for you to change, maybe sometimes change your perspective on something. You know, not be able to see the things. This is the card of being able to walk away, to leave behind, you know, to quit something that was maybe harming you. And Aries, like, because when you set a goal right from the beginning, it stays that goal. You don't often fluctuate too much with what the main intent of your actions are. So sometimes when, you know, you're in the middle of that situation and maybe it's not going well, sometimes you don't want to give it up. You know, it's like sometimes when people have a business and it starts going down, like, you got to just quit before it ruins you, you know, because you'll keep going because you're so steadfast in your decision making, you know.
That's how you get stuck at a dead-end job.
Yeah, you know. You don't want to walk away. And because you do that, Aries, you end up collecting a lot along your way.
Yeah.
You're like, I gotta make it to the end. Gotta make it to 10. I gotta make it to 10. But the whole way, maybe you set too many goals, or you didn't decide when it was the right time to maybe switch up the plan. You know? You end up at the end exhausted.
Or you're gonna break your back.
Yeah, really. And then you just feel you just feel worn and torn and just like, what was it worth it to get to the end?
Yeah, this is not a happy guy. Look at him.
Was it worth it to get to the end and feel that way? You know? I think there are some breadcrumbs on your path along the way that you're ignoring. There are some signs that are telling you, you know, fluctuate a little bit. You got to change it up. Like, you got to try something new. You got to not just look forward. You've got tunnel vision. There's some tunnel vision of fire around you, and you can't see through your walls of fire. See, this cloud, this sweet little cloud is trying to give you something, and you're just like hyper focused, and you won't, you know, you'll miss out on opportunities when you do that.
Looks like he's meditating.
Could be that. Oh, look at some positive. Let's practice some positive connotations throughout. Tarot very often can become and feel very black and white, because there are clearly negative cards and positive cards. I mean, would you think of this as a positive card? It looks like she's in pools of blood, you know? But like we were talking about, telling kids, trying to teach them it's okay to fall. How many times have you felt like this in your life? Think about this. Does that resonate with you? Like, have you had moments that look and feel like this? Those moments made you who you are. You know, I don't think I would be the person that I am without so much pain. This is how I felt this year, you know. I got injured, like my body was injured, and it changed my whole life, and it made me feel useless at times. But because, just like when Donald Trump won, I know I'm kind of going to bring this up a lot because it affects a lot of us in a really intense way. But that was the essence of 2016. I feel like that's kind of, we've all had these moments where we felt like this, but it's really going to make us, our country, our community, it's going to make it what it will become. Oh my God, this cat. And that's a very necessary change that needs to be made. And I don't really know what kind of change that'll bring, but for me, getting injured, I think it brought me to magic. I started thinking of holistic ways to take care of myself. I found essential oils. I started eating, I became vegan. I just started valuing water, really. Drink water, you guys. Drink water. A lot of things, but feeling like this, Aries, can sort of, it builds your character. It makes you tough.
You know, it doesn't kill you, makes you stronger.
That's true.
Gotta be stoic in this day and age.
And I think that's what this is. This card right here. This is the struggle is real card.
Braving the storm.
Yeah, this is like seasonal depression, you know. But it's probably one of the best learning experiences you can go through. I'm reading this book called Breaking Down is Waking Up. I just finished it. And it basically is written by a psychiatrist or a therapist who worked in mostly mental institutions and found that most people who were in these institutions who had mental illness had a very spiritual connection, whether that be to God or them even having a God complex themselves. This always makes me think of the Gemini, Kanye West. What has been going on with Kanye? We've been talking about this a lot.
Pray for Kanye.
Pray for Kanye, because he definitely has mental illness. And he has a God complex. He's Jesus, you know. But for him, or at least in the book, it was saying people like this, they just are open to receiving. They're open to making connections, and whether it be with God or themselves or anything of that sort, it's really just higher consciousness. They compared people who had schizophrenia to shamans, the way that they access spirits or gods or, you know, dimensions. Yeah, even if it's all just in their mind, it's yeah, like we were saying, form of creativity. Creative thought really expands your mind so much more than just memorization, you know. So pray for Kanye. Let's see what the spirit has to say.
One way to shuffle.
Oh, there we go.
TV again.
Yep.
How many are you pulling?
How many want to come out? Oh.
Yes.
Oh, that one too. Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay. So, a couple cards jumped out at us pretty quick. I didn't have to shuffle too long because Aries knows what it wants. So, I mean, earlier I said that this Knight of Wands was probably one of the most Aries cards in this deck. I had another one in mind, and it came out for us. The Chariot. The Chariot is definitely a full speed ahead card, you know. It goes straight for what it wants. It almost doesn't even have to look around, you know. it's being carried by these horses, and it just lets them take him where he wants to go.
Yeah, the chariot of fire sends to heaven.
There you go. Oh, very Aries. We have the mountain. The mountain has a peak, and it goes straight up, you know. This is like having a pinnacle in your goals. It could be a little bit of the, you know, tunnel vision, one-point perspective. You know, the very tip is where everything comes out of, but it all leads right there. That could be a little bit of your tunnel vision, Aries. We have the 3 of Earth. Works. This is the teamwork card. It's in reverse. Oh, Aries. Do you not know how to work with a team?
I don't know how to work with anybody. I don't even know how to have friends.
Yeah.
No friends.
No friends. But I think Aries has the potential to be really social, you know. I think maybe Aries feels like they've been judged for being really gung-ho in life, you know. People are intimidated by that. Not everyone can handle somebody who just, like, really goes for what they want. I think it makes people feel a little nervous. But that's just you, Aries, you know.
Yeah, well, it pisses me off when people do that.
What?
I don't think I like Aries people.
Other Aries?
Yeah. When they're just trying to, you know, plow through people.
Oh.
Like, think about those people who just snake their way to the front at
Oh,
concerts.
you mean these?
Oh, yeah.
These snakes?
They just, like, push. They're, like, determined. Like, oh, I'm getting to the
It's
front.
so funny.
And it's just like...
Because Ryne will do this thing where he talks shit about something, but, like, he's actually describing himself. Yeah.
I don't do
Oh, look at that, because you have many tongues.
I go really early and I wait. Not anymore.
You have a lot of things to say. You have a lot of opinions to share. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can contradict themselves, only because you have so many. It's like, you can't even keep track of all your thoughts.
Wait,
you can't even keep track of your tongues, because you're constantly spitting first reactions to things, you know. Because you're a sparky one. Fuego. We have the 9 of fire.
It's the only fire one.
Yeah, 9 of fire. That's it's pretty much the same card as the mountain. Look at, they're mirrored. This one's even in reverse, and they're still mirrored. It seems like you're very directional, you know, pointing up. Even if the point is down, you'll go straight to what you want. And we have the 9 of wind. This is pretty much, I feel like, in essence, what we were talking about here.
That means no more TV.
No, it's like, okay, here you weren't giving into people's connotations, like, automatically. This is the media. You don't.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you try, yeah. I mean, you
try.
try.
Use it.
You gotta use, you love media, like.
In between, how else am I gonna get information?
He's always scroll trolling Huffington Post, like, constantly.
Yeah, I look at other ones, especially lately, too. Like, I look at Fox News.
But, no, he'll make his own opinions.
All of them.
But you definitely, like, absorb.
But I don't listen to
absorb
anything.
and filter. Like
KPFA
SpongeBob.
You're
porous and absorbent.
Oh, yes. I love SpongeBob. Love SpongeBob. I use him as a pedagogical tool probably daily with all grades. And, yeah, elementary. Well,
Aries, let's see what the angels advise.
Got my 50 do a front flip. Oh, shit.
Oh, there we go. You are loved. Aries, you are so loved. Actually, I mean, I love you a lot, and you're an Aries.
I love you.
And one of my best friends is an Aries, and she's probably the most loving person I know. Dina.
Oh.
And everybody loves her. I don't know anybody with more friends than Tia. And I think it's because you really speak your mind. You know, like some people are intimidated by that, but I mean, you have really awesome friends because you're a really awesome person. And that's just what you attract. But sometimes this needs to be a reminder. Like, Ryne thinks that he doesn't have friends. Or that people don't like him.
No, yeah. I guess. No, not.
I mean, sometimes. Like, you're easy to get into,
I just like being alone. I got shit to do, shit on my mind.
That's true.
You know?
You can hermit a lot.
It's yeah, and it's hard to talk to people you don't. It's hard to get to know people. That's what it is. And then sometimes when you do, or a lot of times when you do, it's like, oh yeah, you're one of the people I don't want to be around.
That's true.
More often than not.
Yeah, if you're straight ahead with your goals, towards what you want, I feel like you're almost equally straight away from what you don't want. You know, it's it's fiery in both receiving and rejecting. You know what you want. But Aries needs to be reminded.
Like, you know.
See, there you go. Remind yourself of the people that really do show love to you.
The ones that matter, you know.
Yes, it's the ones that matter. The reals.
Yeah, the real people. Real people, real friends. Not many of them. Because they grow up and society fucks them in the head.
That's true.
School fucks them upside down.
Whoa. No, that was too Aries. Damn.
Sorry.
But that's true. The kids really do love you. So you just gotta remind yourself who loves you. Because really, those are the only people you really want in your life anyway. So if you're gonna be selective, Aries, go for it. Be selective. But you can be selective and abundant at the same time. Like, you can have really high standards for people in your life, but you can be really gung-ho about finding them. You know? Like, once you have a really clear, I tell this to everyone, once you have a really clear template of your desires, like making a checklist for things that you're trying to conjure or manifest in your life, is to know straight up both what you do want and what you don't want. So you can clearly paint that vivid picture of what you're going for.
I made a list. That's what I do all the time.
Oh yeah, lists. Make lists. Like, I like to start everything with a good list. You know, you should set goals and have a checklist for those goals. Like, isn't it so much easier to go to the grocery store when you have a checklist? Otherwise, you buy like stupid shit and you spend way too much.
Yeah, don't ever go to the grocery store when you're high. Especially not Trader Joe's. You'll spend too much money.
Yeah, you get confused.
Gimmicks, man.
So, like, start making lists, Aries. Checklists. And, I mean, they can be physical checklists, like, or they can be, like, dream checklists, you know. Or, I mean, it's almost 2017, so you can make resolution checklists. You can just make lists part of your life.
Like, just good to write it down. Write it down, stores. You can throw it away, lose it, whatever, but the fact that you wrote it down...
Get some sticky notes.
It'll stick with you more.
Mini notebooks. Try that. Because otherwise, you're going to be going straight towards something very vague. You're going to go full speed ahead, even if you always go full speed ahead, but sometimes you don't even have, like, an idea of where you're trying to go. You know what I mean? You got to steer the horses of your carriage. You can't just have wild horses.
Wild horses.
Exactly. So, Aries, how are you feeling? Connotatively, do you feel, try not to connotate them.
I feel stuffed in a box.
Why?
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Aries, jokester. Well, Aries, Keep on trucking. See you next time.